Good morning and happy Sunday. My name's Rochelle. I have a blog called Feeding a Crowd and full of recipes and tips and fun. And I'm creating these videos to really just speak and talk about life in general and all of my passions. And so I am on Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, and here on YouTube. So thank you for listening. So happy to be here. So it is a bit of it's the end of April. It's rainy, not cold, even though it's snowing in some areas. So it's still a good time to think about gardening. Because today that's what I'll be talking about. I'll be talking about gardening. Gardening is super important. It's something that it's hard when you start because it seems that we make so many mistakes. It takes a while to know what you like to grow, and it takes a while to enjoy it in the way that is organic for you, that it brings you that joy as opposed to being a chore. I always love gardening, but for sure, it's also been a time when I've had gardens where they grew so much that I couldn't even control them. Like these were like my gardens, like the tomato plants were 7 feet tall. It was, and at some point with the children and everything, sometimes I would just let things fall and rot back into the garden because I didn't really have time or understand the importance and the fun of preserving food. And now I am into it. I love last fall I preserved so much food that it was amazing to have this over the winter. It also saves a lot of money. Yes, when you start there's an investment when you start your gardens, but frankly, I think that it's a great way to save money. And as I tell my kids and as I now tell my grandkids, you're not you're not planting seeds, you're planting money, you're harvesting money, because every time you eat a salad, you eat your beets, every time you eat a tomato, you're saving dollars. So gardening is really a way to have great food. You know where it comes from, you know there's no herbicides or um, uh, bad fertilizer, and you just control what you eat and you can share. The beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing about gardening is sharing, and exchanging foods. If you have too many peppers and you don't have zucchinis or you don't have pumpkins, you exchange foods, which is sort of what I plan to do. I know a certain someone that has potato, maybe he likes hot sauces, and I can have some of his potatoes for some hot sauces. I'll give him this hot sauce, I get potatoes, maybe. Anyway, so we'll see how that works. But I think that it's something that you grow in a community or you share with your neighbors. I just love sharing, extra tomatoes in the summer with my neighbors. It's just something so wonderful. When you pull a tomato that is warm on your tomato plant and you slice it and you put it on an English muffin, you don't need anything else but a bit of salt and pepper. And oh, my mouth is watering. So yes, so I'm very big on gardens. I didn't have any the last years. I planted an amazing garden uh, last year, and then the year before that, I just had tomatoes, against the building. Um, this year, I had 2 boxes. I only So a little bit boring with me is that I do garden boxes. Okay, not all of it. But I've discovered garden boxes, and that's how I garden. I have better control of the weeds, and I have better control of where the nutrients go. The roots stay warm, the frost doesn't affect it as fast, and I don't have to crawl on, to get to everything and weed all the time. My favorite size for garden boxes are about 3 by 6. And this year I have 4 by 8. 4 by 8 is a bit large because if they're against something, it's hard to reach 4 feet across. But if they're where you can circle around them, it's perfect. I like them to be at least 18 to 24 in height, inches tall. And that's what I got this year. Can you believe I found garden boxes for $30? Okay, so I had to build them, and I'm doing that. But garden, you can have garden boxes for $200, but if you go on marketplace or in local places, you can sometimes find little treasures. I mean, I even like the ones at Costco. Frankly, any way of garden, I love container gardening too. It's just that you have to water every day, and if you don't plan on being there every day, that's a problem. So um let me type this. um and so Yeah, so where was I? So yeah, I do garden boxes. So now I'm up to 4 boxes, and about 20 feet along a building, between the sidewalk and the building. And because tomatoes like the warmth, especially at night, growing against that building means that the heat radiating from the back wall really helps my tomatoes. I mean, I am in zone 3 here, 3, 4, and so that heat is really great for the tomato plants. And so that I have so far I have 5 areas for my gardens, and I've created a list of the 10 foods, the 10 first foods are for preserving that I plan on having this year. Maybe not all of them, but pretty much that, you know. Um, so it's sort of a free checklist I have on my blog for you. The first one, of course, is tomatoes. I like to eat them fresh, but they're great, 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 and different tomatoes. I always have one plant of cherry tomatoes, sometimes two, because I like the little yellow ones. Um, the rest usually are Roma with one plant of heirloom tomatoes, the ones that I'll cut and eat with sandwiches or just in a salad or just like fruit. So that's one thing. And tomatoes are great for sauces, of course, salsas, and slices, you know, as you eat on toast or in a sandwich, or a great BLT. My God, an egg BLT is delicious. I must be hungry. And then the second thing that I'm growing a lot this year are hot peppers, because I make hot sauces. So I'm gonna stick to 4 kinds. I don't need that many. I need one that is super hot, like pimento de nede. I'm sure I'm not saying it right, but it's Neyde. It's this black hot pepper is the one they used to create the Carolina Reaper. It's hot. The rest is going to be cayenne, jalapeno, and I'll see about the fourth one. So that's going to make my 4 hot sauces, because I'm also making a sauce that's almost like Tabasco, and that I make with whatever I have left over. The other thing I'm growing about this year, I'm so excited about, are the beets. I'm growing beets. They're great canned, and I just love beets. So yeah, and also I have this super duper like air. I don't even know how to call it, But anyways, I can just keep them and freeze them. So that and beets, of course. I'm also growing more amounts of onions, because of my thing against having half rotten onions in all the bags of onions I buy, because the onions they sell to us are 2 to 3 years old, and that just makes me very unhappy. So red onions are great for curing, pickling, preserves, and they just keep really well. So onions. Garlic is already planted. It's planted this fall. It's all come out. It looks great. So happy with my garlic. I know I won't have, a lot. Next year I'll plant a lot more, but you got to start somewhere. I'm not sure about the carrots, but I'll look into it. Carrots need sandy soil and very easy, or else your carrot will end up being all fat and stuck, right? So you need so I'll look at the soil I have this year and decide about the carrots, but they're great for freezing, fermenting, and storing in sand. There you go. Um, and then cabbage. I need to try cabbage. I don't know how many I'll try, but I'm gonna try cabbage, because I'd like to try making sauerkraut or kimchi, and they're great in cold storage. And cabbage is so full of nutrients. Never mind a sauerkraut or kimchi, which is great for a gut. That I'm I have green beans there, because it's great, great, great for canning or pickling. So I'll see about that, because I find that when you grow beans, you have too many at one time, and then you feel like all you'll eat is beans. And so I'll see about, but I think green beans are a great option for pickling. Winter squash, of course, I'm going to do butternut like every year because I really like butternut. I also love spaghetti squash, but because I have boxes, I have limited room. So I'm going to pick one and grow with that. There's also Swiss chard. Not sure about that one, but they're great for freezing in soups and making chips, you know. And of course, I have one box just herbs for my teas and for medicinal reasons. Um, and so I think that that is like the basic 10 things that is great for preserving and for canning and making sauces. You know, when I have my tomatoes, I make sauces with them all the time. I also make ketchup. Tomato ketchup is so easy to make. It's so crazy to make. When I made it last year, out of desperation, I made it with my cherry tomatoes. Can you imagine? It's absolutely delicious. It tastes just like, I was going to say Heinz, but it tastes like commercial ketchup. It's the same color, same texture. It's super, super easy to make. So there's no reason not to make it. And also, when I make my food next year, anything that passes through a sieve, like ketchup or hot sauces, right? Because you just need the liquid part. I use the rest because it's all the pulp that's left, and I dry it in my dehydrator. I love my dehydrator. Oh my god, it's not the little round crappy things; it's the big square ones, and I make leather out of it. You know, the house smells wonderful, and then you have a so nutritious cookie or leather thing to eat. The one made with the hot pepper pulp or that hot sauce is the best one. I absolutely love it. Hi, and welcome to my blog. It's a bit early today because I'm super busy this afternoon. So say hi. And yeah, so pretty much I love my garden boxes. I'm almost ready to plant. It's still too early, guys. Don't go around raking anything in your flower gardens. You're going to be breaking the leaves of the hosta plants. You'll be doing more damage than good. Wait till at least the first week of May before doing any big cleanup and tearing out anything. The plants are very, very, sorry, I got bread. Be right back. Boy, that's not very professional, but it smells wonderful. So, boy, it's still raining so hard. Yeah, and whatever you do this year when it comes to gardening, have faith in yourself. It doesn't matter if you have a ground garden and it's all weedy. For the longest time, we used to pass the mower in the center of my rows because I could weed where, we have mounds, and the plants were planted in the mounds because of the cold weather here. Mounds stay warmer. And it was a way to keep the roots warm. And we just passed the mower because there was only so much weeding I could do in a week, and it was a large garden. The kids were young and they could help me, but darn it, they're kids. You can't live on weeding. But I think that mowing was the best idea. And you know what? I read a lot, and I was reading about when you pass the roto tiller. And a lot of people are against that, and a lot of people are for that. And I think it all depends on what you want to do. A lot of people say you're just waking up like all the weeds and the bad stuff, and you're bringing everything back to the surface. And other people just love it because it loosens the dirt, and they feel that they're bringing the nutrients out. So it's just, I think that it's all philosophies or how you want to garden. If you like rototilling, rototill to your heart's content. If you don't want to, then don't do it. At my parents' house, the ground was so hard. You could not plant anything in there if you didn't rototill and every year add a bunch of peat moss, and not peat moss, but whatever you do to loosen the earth. It was like cement. So, but everything grew great because it was so rich. Um, so, you rototill or you don't. It's all on what you want to do. Because I do garden boxes, obviously, I am not rototilling. Ta-da! Um, and I don't know if I'll ever do ground gardens. I don't think so. I think I'm always going to stick to boxes, um, just because, I have many, many flower gardens, and I don't mind like weeding all those gardens. But when it comes to food gardens, it's just too much. It's just too much weeding. And also, of course, the flowers, I do put mulch. And big mistake when people put like an inch or two of mulch. No, you got to go to 5 to 6 inches. I know it sounds like a lot, but that's the reason you put it there. It's so that it's too dark for the weeds to grow, and any weed that grow will be super weak and easy to pull out. So if you're going to put mulch, put enough. And other things people like to do is hay. They use hay between the rows, and that works if you put enough. Again, you got to put enough. And that probably works. I just wasn't very lucky with it because I probably didn't put enough. It's my fault. Yeah. So I hope that you go tonight. The list will be published on my blog. My blog is coming out, I think, at 5:30 tonight. So I hope you go to it. So it's feedingacrowd.com, feeding-a-crowd.com. It's going to be published on Pinterest also. And also, you know what I posted is my super duper potato salad that's made with the tzatziki sauce. That has come out. I've completely revamped it, redid the printing so you can print it with all the ads. And it's also in French. So, I'm still working through creating all the recipes in French and English. So I have a perfectly bilingual website because I love my French roots as much as I love my English capabilities or audience. And yeah, so that recipe is almost 5 ingredients. It's potatoes, peas, yellow beans, tzatziki sauce, and then whatever else. I always put red onions, fresh red onions and fresh dill. So 6 ingredients. If you don't have fresh dill, you can always use dried, but it's way better fresh. Same with the onions. I either use gray shallots or red onions. The other onions, if you have to use they're stronger. What I would do, because you always got to be versatile, is you take your onions, you slice them thinly, you put them in cold water for about 30 minutes to an hour. When you take out those onions, you'll have all the sweetness without the bitterness. So that's my way of using other kinds of onions that would be too strong as raw in a salad. And so, yeah, and you need that crunch. I like that crunch, because everything else is parboiled and the potatoes are cooked. And, so if you add the crunchiness of the onions, it makes everything better. You also could use green shallots. That would work. But it's not the same thing as the red onions. Red onions are always the best in a salad. Yeah, so I hope you go look at my tzatziki potato salad with yellow beans. The peas are always optional. Actually, everything is optional in life and in recipes. Don't forget, when you're the one creating your recipe, you're allowed to do what I want. You're the artist in that moment, and it belongs to you. So enjoy that. With all of that said, I hope you subscribe to my newsletter and my channels. I hope you follow me on Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook. And I hope to see you soon. So have a great, 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 great day. And have a great week too.